here's a quick explainer on what is happening with the House Speaker situation in the Republican caucus. So Republicans yesterday had their vote just within their own caucus to decide which of two Republican House members they were going to put forward as their nominee to be Speaker. And those nominees were Steve Scalise, who in probably the least self-aware statement ever has called himself David Duke without the baggage, and Jim Jordan, who has covered up sexual abuse and is a full-on insurrectionist. These two absolutely unqualified and horrific members of the House were the best and brightest that the Republican caucus could put forward at this time to be Speaker of the House. The vote for which one was going to get nominated was close. Steve Scalise won by basically a handful of votes. Now, in a normal world, the GOP would now say, we have our nominee and we are going to unite behind them and elect them as Speaker. That would normally be how things would go. But we are not in a normal world, and there is real reason to believe that Scalise will not be able to get the votes. Why? Because here are all the Republican House members who have said that they will not vote for him under any circumstances. Now, Scalise or any House Speaker can only afford to lose 4 votes in the Republican caucus because every Democrat will vote against them. And as you can see, this is many, many more than 4. So what is happening now is Steve Scalise is working to, quote unquote, whip the votes he needs. And the question really becomes, can he do it? The answer is very likely not. And here's where things get quite alarming, is that not only can Steve Scalise very likely not get the votes he needs to become the next House Speaker, but there's a real question as to whether anybody can get that many votes. The Republican Party is so fractured, they are so dysfunctional, they have become so self-serving and so completely uninterested in governing that really no one knows whether they can ever elect a House Speaker. And this, of course, we can call a clown car, but it is also deadly serious. We don't have a functioning House of Representatives. We can't pass a budget. We can't pass laws. We can't help with the very seismic events happening overseas. So that's where things stand now. And if anyone tells you they know what's going to happen next, they are not telling the truth, because really nobody knows. Whatever happens, though, we know that it will involve chaos, a lot of screaming and yelling, a lot of self-dealing, and very little concern for how any of this helps the American people, because it doesn't.